Let's begin a look at the papers this morning with the Guardian newspaper leading with energy prices soar by 70%, cost manufacturers 290 billion naira in Q1. Some details you'll find right there comparing Q4 2023 with Q1 2024 this morning. Details on page 6. The Vanguard newspaper is talking about manufacturing export, says manufacturing export limps as revenue drops 166% to 778 billion naira. What does that mean? The details you'll find on page 19. But look at the riders. World Bank blames poor logistics, weak infrastructure. Man exporters seek government intervention. National single window will bring relief. That's according to CPPE. Are you as assured? Well, check the details on page 19. Blueprint newspaper, FG mulls 95% tax exemption for informal sector. Wow. Is that a good thing or a good thing? Well, look at the riders. Aims to repeal multiple taxes, achieve single digits. Targets middle class elite to improve collection and efficiency. Find the details continue on the inside pages. The Daily Times newspaper says FG working to provide tax relief to 95% of informal sector. That's according to Mr. Oyedele, who is the chairman of that presidential committee. Says plan to be achieved through exemption of businesses earning 25 million naira a year or less from various taxes. Tinubu government not out to frustrate any sector of the economy, says VP Shetima. Daily Trust newspaper leads with this one. Tenants groan as Abuja landlords increase rent. Property owners blame high cost of building materials. Developers seek signing of real estate bill. Look at the Nigerian News Direct. 136 Nigerians set up, others file suit to hold implementation of cybersecurity levy. That story is on page 21 of the Nigerian News Direct this morning. Daily Independent leads with Lagos airport incidents. Aviation experts query runway re-rubberization maintenance system. Incidents not connected to runway maintenance, according to FAN. That's the only rider to the story. The Abuja Inquirer leads with 10 times in 12 days. AEDC failed to provide power. Wow. Blames technical faults, inclement weather. Residents slam company wants new owners. The Nigerian Observer leads with this one. Nigerians win as FG bows to pressure, suspends cybersecurity levy. Experts say government needs wider consultation on policies as Serap budget others head to court. Check the details on the inside pages. Business Day, weak naira, rising inflation signal further rate hike. That's the big story of the paper this morning. New Telegraph is on the Rivers crisis, initiating impeachment proceedings against Fubara risky. That's according to Sage. And look at the riders. Tinubu won't support attempts to frustrate Rivers government's operations. That's on page 3. Right under the picture on the front page, cybersecurity levy, Agbakoba, Serap budget others sue FG, National Assembly, CBN. The Nigerian Tribune is also talking about the tax relief. FG planning tax relief for 95% of small businesses. That's according to the Tax Reforms Committee chairman. Details on page 4. That's the much of the papers we can take today, which is your own pick.
Okay, so looking through some of these dailies that are saying FG planning 95% tax relief for small businesses, Tribune and several others highlight that particular story this morning. You know, it just gives you, it raises a lot of questions, because here he says that we think that companies, that's his impression, that's what he was quoted to have said. So I guess we'll wait and see when this comes to fruition. But there are questions as to, the last time we spoke to him, which has been a while anyways, he did say that, yes, they have some preliminary details and documents which they have submitted to the president. They were supposed to then get some action some of those issues that have been raised, but it hadn't happened. And before we knew what was going on, the 0.5% levy narrative came through and several other things. So that gave the impression as though were they really on the same page? Is this really harmonized? Because you'd have thought that above all else, this should be top on the agenda if any tax matter of any sort whatsoever was going to come up. This is what they should have leveraged and said, look, we're looking at this. This is what we plan to do. Rather than just come up with that one and then they suspended it. I think the easy was suspend, not completely
suspend.
It means it's going to come up much later.
Certainly. But, you know, interestingly, the Taiwo Oyedele-led committee also released a statement when the 0.5% cybersecurity levy was about to be implemented. They did say that, look, they're just saying this. They're going to take it on board, and then they'll see, they'll see just what's happening. And sometimes, I think government forgets that they need to work together, and maybe, people are still working in silos, or maybe they didn't think that this could affect anything.
Set up an economic committee, multi-layer team to look at all these issues to ensure they harmonize it and make it easy for businesses to thrive. But we're not seeing those results. As of yet, we're not.
Well, we'll pose the question to government. What happened? That's why we're here, to pose the questions. But, I mean, it is interesting to see this is coming out. The question is, why is it coming out when they haven't exactly finalized it? Anyway.
And is government going to talk to us about subsidy? Is it there or not? What about all those narratives we hear?
It's a very, very thorny, thorny issue. Now, I think that, first, anyone who is going to want to talk about that, we want to hear from the person who should actually talk about it is the president, because he's the one who said subsidy is gone. Mr. President, from what we know subsidy is not gone. So is it possible for you to address it? Because somehow all your lieutenants will say they cannot talk about it, without contradicting what it is that the president has said. So everybody's avoiding the topic.
So now you tell me, if you look at all these scenarios, as an investor, you're looking to invest, would you plunge? Would you put your stake, your money, would you stake your funds when you see all these uncertainties and things like that?
It's a real big issue, because even over the weekend, we also saw something from the MD of Okomo Oils?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, who was talking about how some of the members of staff were attacked on the farm, and I think, I'm not very certain if that attack, resulted in fatalities, as if people lost their lives, but for them, that was one attack too many, and they're complaining bitterly about it, how they pay huge amounts in taxes and somehow are still not guaranteed security. They still have to invest in securing their own farm. So I think that is something that demands a high-level meeting. When an investor who is already here is complaining about, because they are the biggest advertisements. If any new investor is going to come into the country and look in the areas that we're asking them to look, agriculture, etc., they will want to speak with those who are already here.
Absolutely.
If those ones have nothing positive to say, or if they're complaining bitterly about a host of things, that certainly is not going to be marketing the country very well. So when an investor who is already on the ground here, starts to make complaints about certain things, it must be treated with utmost priority. I think that's how people get to know that, okay, this government is serious. That while we're looking for more, those who are on the ground here are also treated, and they don't have to be international investors.
No.
Yes, international investors can be, of course, treated well. After all, we're going around the world to go and get them. But even those who are here, must also be, when I mean here, don't have to be, they could be Nigerians as well. As long as they're putting their money, trying to create jobs, trying to ensure that the economy moves in many ways. They're not just keeping their money in the bank or keeping it somewhere, keeping it offshore. People can do that. It's their money. As much as possible, those kinds of complaints shouldn't be taken lightly. Ayo.
Well, thank you, Marco. Well, my take this morning is actually on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, right above the nameplate, where the power sector crisis won't end soon, by Joe Ajero, the NLC president. What makes it troubling for me is the lead story of the Vanguard newspaper talking about manufacturing export limping. It also brings to mind, by the way, what we're talking about this morning on Business News on Sunrise Daily, Business Morning, beg your pardon, on Sunrise Daily, potentials of lithium in Nasarawa State. Not too long ago, the president also took that trip and hosted some people in Abuja on his return about investing in lithium in this country and talking about the huge opportunities that will come with. Well, are we going to leave? Are we going to need power or not for these investors? Will they have reason to want to leave the country simply because they have a high cost of doing business in the country? I think it is something to be given much attention to. Well, it's a Monday morning, and for football lovers, this one is for you. Mr. and Mrs. Mrs. is arguing with Mr. You can't seize Junior's pocket money because the club he supports trashed yours by 5 goals to nothing. And Mr. responds, okay, tell him to wipe the smirk off his face whenever he sees me. That's Mr. and Mrs. this morning, and that's my take, guys.
Come on, Mr. Where's the spirit of sportsmanship? You have to have it all the time. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some.
Everybody will exercise their power, you know, where they have it. That reminds me, I came across a joke over the weekend about how somebody was saying over Harry and Meghan's visit to Nigeria. Someone was saying, oh, my mother loves these people, you know, she prays for them, she wishes them well. Every morning they're in her prayers. And the son was saying, oh, but nobody knows you, Mom. They don't even know you. Why are you praying for them? And the mother retorted and said, who knows you at Arsenal? Everybody pick your club. Who you want to pray for. It doesn't matter whether they know you.
Shots fired there, I tell you. Okay, so there you go. Well, back in the moment here, so stay on with us.